Fox News cameraman Pierre Zakrzewski has died in Ukraine.
Why do I hate Putin so much? Has Putin ever called me a racist?
Fox News cameraman Pierre Zakrzewski has been killed in Ukraine. And this happened all while Fox News continues airing Tucker Carlson's propaganda for Russia. So I'll get to more on that later. First, here is the announcement on Fox News from Bill Hemmer about their colleague.
Fox News cameraman Pierre Zakrzewski has died in Ukraine. He was working with our Benjamin Hall when incoming fire hit their vehicle outside of Kyiv. The picture you see right here was taken just a short time ago with Steve Harrigan and others in the capital city. Pierre Zakrzewski was an absolute legend at this network, and his loss is devastating. He has been with us for years, covering wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria. Our CEO, Suzanne Scott, noted a few moments ago that Pierre jumped in to help out with all sorts of roles in the field, photographer, an engineer, an editor, and producer. And he did it all under immense pressure and with tremendous skill. The president of Fox, Jay Wallace, says that everyone always felt an extra sense of reassurance when they arrived on the scene and they saw that Pierre was there. He was a professional, he was a journalist, and he was a friend. We here at the Fox News Channel want to offer our deepest condolences to Pierre's wife, Michelle, and his entire family. Pierre Zakrzewski was only 55 years old, and we miss him already.
So, of course, this is incredibly sad, and it's pretty messed up that this happened while various members of their news organization, especially Tucker Carlson, continue pushing propaganda on behalf of Russia. So to have, those words there from the CEO, they're nice. He was a great guy. Speak about that, sure. But to do that while you continue airing the garbage you are airing is unbelievable to me. So I'll get to more on that in a bit. But first here, more on the attack. So it not only killed him, but his Ukrainian colleague, Oleksandra Kuvshynova, was killed as well. Another Fox News journalist, Benjamin Hall, was badly injured. The incident took place just northwest of Kyiv. And a couple of people here that worked with this journalist, saying, I worked with Pierre many times around the world. He was an absolute treasure, sending our most heartfelt prayers to Pierre's wife and family. And Clarissa Ward here saying, there are no words. I had the great privilege of working with Pierre and the even greater privilege of calling him a friend, an extraordinary spirit and tremendous talent, and one of the kindest, most gracious colleagues on the road. Absolutely heartbreaking. So it's a reminder of just how dangerous this job is, being in the field like this as a journalist. You're not guaranteed safety. And this isn't the first journalist to be killed in Ukraine. There's been several others. One other, I believe an American journalist, but others from Ukraine as well have been killed so far. But now let's get to some of the garbage that Fox News themselves put out. So here is an example of this. This is partially funny because of the translation you're going to see. But this is Ali Velshi covering this on MSNBC, and just watch this.
Here's another Russian TV segment from this weekend where a different Russian TV network just played a huge chunk of Tucker Carlson's Fox News show translated into Russian. I have to play a second for you with the sound on because the Russian translator tries to mimic Tucker's performance while speaking. It's quite funny.
Есть ли у Украины биологическое оружие? У Украины есть объекты для биологических исследований. Что?
All right, so there's more to that clip. I got to pause it for now. I'll get to the rest of it, but just the translation there. Like, that's pretty much, I think, what goes through a lot of our minds when we're watching Tucker Carlson. But, okay, so here's the rest of the clip, and I'll get to just the complete bullshit he is spreading.
Other than being very funny, it's also deeply concerning. You see the banner under there, Undersecretary of State, Ukraine has biolabs. Now, what Carlson is doing in this segment is taking a statement from Victoria Nuland, the U.S. Undersecretary of State, completely out of context. She's confirming that the U.S. does have biological laboratories in Ukraine like we have all over the world, labs that work like the CDC to monitor diseases and to prevent outbreaks. They're not weapons labs. But look at how far Carlson took that from its actual context. Here's the clip that I just played for you, originally in English.
Under oath in an open committee hearing, Toria Nuland just confirmed that the Russian disinformation they've been telling us for days is a lie and a conspiracy theory and crazy and immoral to believe is in fact totally and completely true. Whoa.
This is such unbelievable garbage. So Ali Velshi broke down a bit of it here, but I'll get some more examples and also just break down this part in particular. So this is just, it's so easily refuted with a simple search. You can find the actual documents underpinning all of this. And you can see how Tucker uses just, little drops of truth to try and sow these questions around what are these biolabs really about without actually saying or claiming they're bioweapons, that they're developing bioweapons. What he does is he focuses on this issue enough to make it seem like this is a bigger deal than it actually is. So a bit here from New York Times. There are biological laboratories inside Ukraine, and since 2005, the U.S. has provided backing to a number of institutions to prevent the production of biological weapons. But Tucker Carlson, the Fox News host, and others have misleadingly cited remarks from American officials as proof that the labs are producing or conducting research on biological weapons. So you can find this document yourself. It's from 2005. So if this was a serious issue, then why didn't Russia, invade all of Ukraine back in 2005? But here is the agreement, and you can read through it. It is about the prevention. It is about research into the prevention of proliferation of technology, pathogens, and expertise that could be used in the development of biological weapons. It's a biolab. It's a scientific laboratory. That's what this is. But again, as Ali Velshi mentioned there, these are all over the world. This is not a big deal. But Tucker focuses on this issue so much as to at least, put some questions in your mind about, oh, maybe Russia is justified to invade because of scientific laboratories. But he makes it a focus to make it seem like a bigger issue than it actually is. And of course, Russia loves it. So a leaked memo shows that a leaked Kremlin memo to Russian media, it is essential to feature Tucker Carlson. So we don't need a memo to know this because we have seen them use Tucker again and again and again. The Intercept here, this is a piece from the end of last month. Russian TV uses Tucker Carlson and Tulsi Gabbard to sell Putin's war. So a few examples here. I'm not going to play these videos because they're all, in Russian. But here's the translation of them. On the eve of the war, Russian state TV showed a translation of Tulsi Gabbard's Fox News criticism of Biden's threat to sanction Russia for attacking Ukraine. Quote, sanctions don't work. This is a whole problem with the Biden administration. They are so focused on how do we punish Putin. So here they are defending Putin. Again, you can see why the Kremlin wants to use this. Another example here on Sunday, again, this is from the end of last month, so the 24th. On Sunday, Russian state TV translated this Tucker Carlson rant, quote, they're promoting war, not to maintain the democracy that is Ukraine. Ukraine is not a democracy. It has never been a democracy in its history, and it's not now. It is a client state of the Biden administration. Another example, on Tuesday, Tucker Carlson claimed that Democrats in Washington have told you it's your patriotic duty to hate Vladimir Putin. Within hours, the Fox clip was on Russian state TV's evening news broadcast, used to suggest U.S. opposition to Russia's attack on Ukraine is irrational. So what Tucker does is he'll, again, take little aspects of truth and turn them into a bigger deal than they actually are, as at the very least to try and make you think that maybe Russia is justified in invading Ukraine when clearly they are not. So just to conclude here, this piece from New Republic is very good. Again, I'll link to all my sources below the video so you can read through all this if you want. But here they write, taking sides is what matters now. Ukraine was hardly a perfect country. It wasn't an especially well-functioning democracy. Freedom House ranked it as only partly free. Corruption was rife. Yes, there were and still are some fascists in the military and in some positions of public office. The same can be said, incidentally, of the U.S. and probably of most countries. 3 weeks ago, Vladimir Zelensky was a bumbling television personality who was in over his head, with the dismal poll numbers to prove it. None of that matters. What matters is that Putin started a war. He is killing innocent people and bombing hospital maternity wards, another incident that some pro-Putin rightists and leftists dispute. He is trying to erase a sovereign nation from the face of the earth, and the lies keep getting more brazen, which is what dictators do. Last Friday, Putin and his Belarusian stooge, Oleksandra Lukashenko, actually argued that Ukraine started the war and said, quote, "Our consciences are clear." So yeah, it is unbelievable to me that this is the kind of garbage. I mean, I shouldn't say it's unbelievable. It's what Fox News does. But to have a Fox News journalist get killed in Ukraine, and at the same time, your highest rated show on Fox is propaganda for Russians, it's crazy. But ultimately, it shows you what wins out. Money, attention. Tucker is high rated. People watch him because what he says is a little different than what is being said elsewhere. So he's popular on the network. That's all they care about. If they have a journalist killed in Ukraine because of this Russian invasion, that doesn't change the calculus at all for them. Ultimately, Tucker isn't directly saying outright, complete outright. I mean, he is lying all the time, but in terms of he's not saying that Ukraine is developing bioweapons, but he focuses on biolabs enough to make you think this is an issue worth investigating or worth Russia, invading over, when clearly it isn't. All he is doing is Russian propaganda, and the proof is in the Kremlin airing his segments on their network.